Have you seen that new Spider-Man trailer?
Dude, I was on the metro, doom scrolling, and just saw it jump into my feed. I actually look at YouTube quite a bit. It's actually kind of bad,
Yeah,
but I'm actually on YouTube. Like you know how people look at Twitter and stuff like that. I'm on
right,
YouTube.
right. I
It's
used to do
gotten
that with
me.
the YouTube Shorts, but I had to stop.
Yeah,
It's
it's just getting too.
such a time waster.
Dude, it's just so much on there. But
Yeah,
and then it popped in my feed. I was like, what? So I instantly watched it. And dude, I wasn't prepared for it. I mean, I know you told me it was coming out this summer, but
yeah,
I was not prepared. And
right.
I'm actually looking forward to it. And I think it's going to be a summer hit. I really do. I think that Tom Holland is probably the best Spider-Man they've ever casted. And
Yeah,
we'll get into a lot of other things, but it's really that Brand New Day. It's got a lot of interesting things to it, and you can tell they're building up to another trilogy, which is going to be fun.
yeah. I mean, I've got high hopes for it. Like I said, I never really. I There were parts of the previous three Tom Holland Spider-Man movies that were good, but as a whole, they weren't what I wanted. They were too mixed up in the rest of the cinematic universe.
Yeah, and I think too, there's a lot going on with that because we have uh, the Avengers Doomsday this Christmas, and then we have Secret War next year.
Yeah,
So if Spider-Man has a trilogy, how's that going to fit?
right.
I think everyone agrees that the MCU
I don't want
has.
any. I don't want any Doomsday stuff in this movie. Okay,
Oh yeah, I
Spider-Man
think
can
that's
get
smart.
mixed up in Doomsday. Doomsday can't get mixed up in Spider-Man.
No, I think that's smart enough not to do that.
Yeah,
To be honest with you, I don't think Spider-Man will be in Doomsday much because I think that they kind of just want some standalone movies that people can enjoy.
yeah.
Um, but at the same time, um, it's the same. If Marvel does want to incorporate some stuff, we can talk about that. So anyway, I've got my. I know it's a podcast of five, but I have my five things that you probably didn't notice, and of course you ask questions.
Yeah, I don't have
And
a five list because like trailers like this, I'm not recognizing the things you're recognizing in the trailer.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing is, trailers are
It's
so.
just a cool trailer to me and it
Yeah,
makes me want to see the movie,
trailers are such a unique thing because there's no promise from people who make trailers that what they're showing you equates to is in the movie, and they can do so many different things to trick you visually and audibly that you don't know what you think will happen in the movie. You have no idea. You have no idea time sequences. You have no idea plot lines.
Mhm.
Like you hear a voiceover and you think it's one character, but it's not. So you really
Right.
do
Yeah.
have to
Mhm.
take trailers as like it's a hype film. Like you should not put a lot of weight into it.
Mhm.
But there were some things that the trailer spent some good chunks of time on that I think is worth mentioning. So let's get started.
All right.
So this is my first thing that I noticed, and I think they did this in order to highlight a change in the character. So
Mhm.
Spider-Man's web shooters in the comics, they're always kind of covered up by his costume.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you watch the original Sam Raimi Spider-Mans,
Mhm.
his web shooters were under his costume, so you didn't see them.
Well, in the
Oh,
Sam Raimi,
he
he
had
had
organic web
organic
shooters. There
shooters.
you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But so if you look at this trailer, the web shooters are outside his hands,
Mhm.
and then there's something that happens, and you
Which
can
kind of
just
makes sense, right?
yeah, yeah, it does make sense. But there's something that happens, and they don't outright say that he got organic web shooters, but you can tell that he got organic web shooters. And
Oh, you
so
think that's part of
apparently,
his transformation in the movie? He goes from
yeah,
having mechanical web shooters to organic ones?
well, it seems to be that he's having his DNA is mutating, like his spider powers are growing stronger.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because the best Spider-Man movie made was Spider-Man 2 back in the Sam Raimi days, and
Mhm.
that was about his spider abilities freaking out on him. In the Sam
Hmm.
Raimi Spider-Man 2 movie, his powers he was losing his powers because he was having a psychotic break about his responsibilities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it looks like it's going to be the opposite, which I think is really fun.
Well, I think he loses
He,
them a little bit at first in this movie from the trailer, and then they grow again.
what do you mean?
It seems like they from what I saw in the trailer, it seems like his powers lessen and
I think it's
then get amped up.
Well, I think he's just like his body's just starting to freak out, so like
Yeah.
he doesn't have control of it, which is really cool. And like any kind of adversity you give to Spider-Man makes the character more fun to watch. Like
Right.
Spider-Man's a fun character when he's dealing with a bunch of different stuff he can handle. He can't handle it because you want to see how he handles it.
Mm-hmm.
So like him having his body freak out on him as he's trying to get his relationship back to his friends that he lost from the last movie, as he's trying to deal with all these existential threats. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So we're going to see a Peter Parker who's at his limit of what he can do. And then, of course, he's going to surprise us all and go beyond his limits, which is going to be great. I hope everybody's really excited about seeing a really physical, really action-packed Spider-Man movie, because that's what you're going to get.
You're like, we saw some from the behind-the-scenes photos that were taken. A lot of the swinging in the movie, like they actually had Tom Holland or a stunt double on cranes attached with wires swinging them around.
That's great.
So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Tom Holland got hurt in this movie.
Oh,
His
yeah?
back got hurt.
I didn't hear about that.
He had to sit out for a little bit, but he got hurt. Number two thing that you might not, you've definitely seen this. So you saw a montage of Spider-Man fighting villains. Like you saw that, right? Like you saw him fighting. There's a scene where a guy with like spikes on his feet are like trying to stab him, and then you saw someone with boomerangs throwing boomerangs at him. Those are so the characters. The boomerang guy is called Boomerang, and the guy with the spikes on his feet is called the Tarantula. And it's also a scene, if you blink, you miss it, where Spider-Man is carrying a bad guy, is swinging. So these different scenes are call outs to classic comic book covers. And so if you look, the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man Amazing Fantasy #1 that Spider-Man was first introduced into, he was swinging, holding a villain in his arms, which is really interesting because Batman's first appearance, he was doing the same thing. But I digress. And so what you're going to see is, I think at the beginning, the movies will open up and you're going to see like probably 10 to 15 little shots like this of Spider-Man like living out these classic comic book covers. So don't think that you're going to see the tarantula or boomerang in the movie.
They won't be a key part of the movie. They might be like flashbacks or a montage or something.
What they're going to show is they're going to show, hey, I've been busy. This is what I've been doing.
Wasn't there a movie, like a Marvel movie recently, where they did something similar? Fantastic Four, right? Didn't they do that with Fantastic Four?
Yeah, they did,
and I really liked that. So
yeah,
I wouldn't hate seeing it again in this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool to see Spider-Man like all these different things he's been doing since the last time we saw him.
Right.
I'm not sure how many years it's been since. It's
been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, I don't know how many years.
No Way Home and Brand New Day. I'm not really sure the gap. It's probably 2 or 3 years. So that's what you're going to see. That's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Number 3. Now, this is interesting. If you looked at the trailer, there was a long, probably 30 seconds of Punisher in this movie, which is super interesting to me. So there's
in this movie, we've got 2 actors who are kind of born to play the role. Tom Holland is Peter Parker Spider-Man, and John Bernthal is Frank Castle, the Punisher. John Bernthal's amazing in most of the things that he does. I did watch like Him and Hers TV show where he was still pretty good, but that show wasn't that great. But like most things he's in, he's amazing, and he's amazing as the Punisher.
Oh yeah, and here's a lot going on with this. The Punisher is going to be in Daredevil Born Again season 2. And I think he's supposed to have a special, right, Mike?
He's supposed to have something like the Werewolf at Night. So a similar thing, like a maybe shorter than a feature, but longer than a TV episode, typically.
Yeah, and then you see him chasing this armored car is flying through the streets of New York, just like run over everything, and Spider-Man's trying to chase it and stop it. And then the Punisher's also trying to chase it and stop it. And so Spider-Man. So first, Frank drives over Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then this is the most interesting part to me.
Mhm.
Spider-Man says, Frank, what are you doing? You know, like they
Mhm.
know each other.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
And that they're familiar with each other, which means they've seen each other. So here's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
Well, they're both hanging out fighting crime in New York City.
That's
You know,
true.
you're going to run into each other.
No, okay. This is going to be real bad, and I shouldn't say this, but here we go.
All right.
I promise you that Spider-Man will be in Daredevil Brand New Day, and I promise you that's where Spider-Man,
the next Daredevil series.
Yeah, Daredevil Born Again, season 2.
Yeah, season 2.
Spider-Man's going to be in it, and he's going to meet Frank Castle.
Well, he was in. No, wait, no, he wasn't in the first one.
Nope.
Matt Murdock was in the last Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. So I guarantee you, maybe the last episode or the last 2 episodes, Spider-Man's going to show up in Daredevil season 2. And it's going to be one of those things where you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be really cool. Because like Daredevil and Spider-Man being together at any capacity is going to be super fun to watch. And then having Frank Castle around too is going to be cool. And otherwise, they're going to have to figure out a way to explain how they know each other, which I don't think they're going to do. Yeah. So, Frank Castle's going to be in this pretty heavy. And here's my thinking too, Mike. It just kind of feels to me that they're prepping for a Frank Punisher movie. It just feels like that's the obvious.
Hey, I'm all in on that, man.
Yeah, I think
all in.
Because like you can kind of tell, like movie studios do this. They've tested Brand New Day to test audiences, and they probably said during the test audience probably said, "We love this Punisher guy," and they probably test through the roof. Yeah. And they're like, you know what? Let's make a movie. And so if he does well, if it looks like people like him in Brand New Day, he will definitely get his own standalone movie, and it'll make $1 billion.
I will say, I don't hate Punisher being in this movie just because John Bernthal is so amazing in the role, but I don't want this to be an ensemble movie. I want this to be a Spider-Man movie. So I want Punisher in here as peppering, not as a full-on ingredient. I don't want him to have a whole lot of time in this movie.
You're gonna get a little Punisher. You're gonna get a couple things here and there, but no, it's a 2 hour or something. It's gonna be a 2.5 hour movie, so you're gonna get some old school. You're gonna get some here and there, but Spider-Man's gonna take up the most of it. Yeah,
like if they bump into each other a few times, cool. You know that happens. I just don't want him to be like in half the movie.
Yeah, Easter egg. This is a small Easter egg. Tom Holland and John Bernthal is also going to be in another summer movie. Do you know what that movie is?
I do not.
It's Odysseus. Or the Odyssey.
The Odyssey. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and John Bernthal plays one of the suitors trying to get Penelope to marry him. It's a long story. If you haven't read the Odyssey, you should read it. And Tom Holland plays Odysseus' son.
Interesting. Okay.
Which is kind of funny because in the Odyssey, Odysseus' son, Telemachus, is described as this tall, godlike structure, and that's not Tom Holland. So, come on, let's be real. Right. Like, Tom Holland's he is a physically good-looking dude, but he's not tall.
He's on the shorter side.
Yeah, he's a short dude. So it's really funny. All right, next up. This is a side thing that kind of...
Is that 2 or 3 now? It's 3.
I just went over 3. There's
it's
a 4th one.
All right.
This is a side thing, but this has actually been a conversation throughout comic book nerds for probably 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Whenever Spider-Man uses his sticky powers, when he sticks to walls.
I know what you're going to say. I know what this is about. All right.
What?
Go ahead. I know where this is going. Go ahead.
Well, the thing is, like, he only uses hands and feet. You only see him do that. But it's always been theories. Does that ability extend to his entire body?
Right.
And the trailer says yes. Because if you open the trailer, he's sitting down on an I-beam, some kind of building, but he's upside down. So his butt is sticky to the I-beam, which means that, he can totally do that. And that's actually really interesting because in the original Sam Raimi movies, Spider-Man's sticky ability was caused by small, I don't say thorns, claws,
small hairs.
Well, coming out of his there's one scene that shows those hairs or spikes coming out of his fingernails. Did you remember seeing that?
I believe so. Well, it came out of his whole hand, I think, out of his palm and everything.
Yeah. Like Peter Parker looked at his hand and you could see them coming out.
Right.
That's the first time anyone's ever explained that ability. The first time anyone's ever explained it.
But they've got to poke out through his suit.
Yeah, but there's other theories that actually make more sense than that. There's a lot of theories in comic book lore that Spider-Man's ability is electromagnetic, and that
spiders do it with the small hairs.
Yeah, spiders do it small hairs, right? And a spider's small, so those hairs are really strong.
Yeah.
So spiders basically climbing.
They've got so many of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just climbing on a wall, and it looks like it's easy for them to do, right? So like it's really cool. But for Spider-Man, the theory has always been electromagnetic, that his ability creates like a field around him that allows him to stick to any surface as electromagnetic. So like static cling, almost like telekinesis. There's never been any explanation about this. And again, they don't want to explain it because why? Why would you want to? It's like explaining Superman's ability to fly. Why would you explain that?
Yeah.
It's not needed.
Yeah, you don't need
But it's a cool Easter egg because it kind of highlights that his abilities are far more advanced than people think. Like the ability for him to stick to anything on any part of his body, that might be a ability that gets expounded upon, it gets more powerful.
So what we're saying is Spider-Man has sticky butt.
Yes, sticky. That's a good one. And also too, there's a storyline. There was a storyline about Spider-Man, and this was okay. So this is going to take a while to explain. Spider-Man: Brand New Day, the original storyline in the comics, is one of the most controversial storylines.
This was so I think I actually know a factoid about this comic. This was done by Dan Slott. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the storyline. So before Brand New Day, Mary Jane and Peter Parker were married. And then
Dan Slott is active on Threads. That's how I know this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Aunt May gets sick. And the devil, Mephisto, comes to Peter Parker with a deal. And Mephisto says, if you dissolve your marriage with Mary Jane and I take it away from reality and make it so you never were married, I will heal Aunt May. And he decides to do it. And it's just horrible. It's awful. It's like Aunt May, it's time for Aunt May to die. That's just how it is. And he gives up his love of his life that I've read in comic books for like 30 years. He just gives it up. But it was a way for Marvel Company to reset Spider-Man to this younger, single, stressed out kind of guy. The idea was they wanted,
because he had gotten like 30s or 40s and married with MJ in the comics.
He was in his 30s, and but the idea was that they wanted Spider-Man to connect to a younger audience. Like the people who read his comic aren't married. Yeah. So why? But that's not true, and that's the thing. It wasn't true. The people that were reading the comics read their relationship for most of their life. Right. So you just took something from them, and Marvel Comics just could not ever figure that out. They were like, there were statements and things written about this for like multiple times where Marvel tried to explain what they were doing, and the fan base was like, "You don't get it. You don't get it. We like them married." But they've tried to fix it in different ways over the years. But there was a storyline before that where Spider-Man's powers became what happens in this movie. So he goes through a metamorphosis where his powers change, and he gets organic web shooters, and the stickiness of his body gets even stronger, and his senses, his spider sense gets even stronger.
This all happens in the comic book?
It all happens in the comic book, yeah. But it's kind of connected to this idea that Spider-Man isn't necessarily, he didn't get his powers by accident. He got his powers because he's an avatar of the spider, which is sort of a whole thing. So I'm curious to see if the movie angles this over to how he originally got his powers and who he really is. Yeah. Because there's a couple of villains in that time frame that were the most powerful villains he's ever faced. He almost died several times. So it's gonna be really interesting to see. All right. Lastly, If you watch the trailer, Spider-Man gets the key to the city.
Yes.
Who gives him the key to the city? Do you know?
I have no idea.
It is the Kingpin in Daredevil Born Again. The Kingpin is the mayor of New York, but he has an assistant, and I'm almost guarantee you that the assistant is the woman that we see given the key to Spider-Man.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
I don't know if she's the mayor when she does that,
Mm-hmm.
but typically the mayor does give the key to the city to the people. So,
right.
Whatever happens,
Maybe they, maybe they get rid of him as mayor in the next Daredevil series.
I get the end of Daredevil, Born Again. Kingpin will not be the mayor of the city. That's going to end. But I'm really curious about what happens and how that works.
Right.
So I guess you have to watch. So like there are obvious connections between Daredevil, Born Again. Why am I having a hard time saying that? Daredevil, Born Again, and Spider-Man: Brand New Day. And again,
well, they both kind of mean the same thing, so it's easy to get them confused.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, Marvel is begging you to watch Daredevil Born Again right now because we keep seeing things from Daredevil, like and then they keep advertising Daredevil more and more. So it's like I cut out my subscription to Disney Plus, but I might have to re-up it just to see.
Man, I hope it's better than the first season was, which was kind of a mishmash in my opinion.
It kind of looks better if you look at the trailers. It kind of looks.
I haven't watched any of the trailers. I'm just going to go in cold.
Oh, we got smart.
Yeah,
it's next week. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all the cool things that I saw from the trailer. I thought the trailer
good list of 5.
Yeah, that's fine. I thought the trailer really, really good. Really sad. Like Peter Parker just looks like he's really sad. Always makes me sad.
Yeah.
Thoughts and questions, brother?
I'm excited for it, man. It's so this movie is directed by, I always get his name confused because it's kind of a weird name. Destin Daniel Cretton is the director of Spider-Man: Brand New Day. And what else did he direct?
I don't know.
Shang-Chi.
Wow.
Which Shang-Chi was a very good movie, and it had great stunt work, so we know he can do stunts. What else did Destin Daniel Cretton direct? He directed the Wonder Man series on Disney. And the Wonder Man series on Disney did a fantastic job of character development. And that's exactly the two things that I want in a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man movie is great stunt work and character development.
You know, looking back, thinking about the trailer and looking back at Shang-Chi, you can see some directorial choices. I can definitely see some of that. And it's definitely interesting that the hand's involved with that background.
Yeah.
And like when you say that, like any kind of mention of a person who directed Shang-Chi, we might get to see some Shang-Chi. Like I know you don't want this to be a ensemble cast, but I can see Shang-Chi showing up at some point. Or being something, or maybe a post-credit thing.
Yeah, that would be okay. Yeah, especially if the post-credit scene says, "Hey, we're going to do another Shang-Chi movie."
Yeah, Marvel desperately needs
way overdue.
Yeah, Marvel desperately needs a movie to get people back in the theaters, interested in these movies again. Because right now, the consensus from the popular consensus is that these movies are bad. And the reason why the popular consensus exists is because there have been some bad movies, but also people haven't seen them in a long time. So again, like when you mention a Marvel movie, people are like, but I think Spider-Man's going to be big enough to get everybody back in the theaters, have a good time.
Yeah.
And then Marvel needs to remember that these movies aren't about building up to this big crescendo all the time. It's about each movie needs to be good on its own. It needs to be fun on its own, and it needs to be able to carry theaters on its own, not this whole thing where they did before. Now the thing they did before worked, but it doesn't work anymore. So you got to do something different. And hopefully Spider-Man Brand New Day. I mean, even the title, Brand New Day, hopefully it's going to be a brand new day for Marvel too. And they desperately need it.
Yeah.
They desperately need something to get fans back in the theater.
Definitely
all right, that's all I got, Mike. How about you?
I mean, that was great. I like I said, I'm really looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it for a very long time. I hope it delivers. I have a pretty good feeling that it will. So yeah, that's it for me.
I'm gonna be there day one.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
without a doubt.
And again, this podcast is the five things that we find interesting.
Mhm.
But people like this and want to listen to more comic books spewing. We have another podcast that we've done for a while, and maybe we'll dust off and
I'm
do it
sure
again. I
we'll
don't
dust
know.
it off when this movie comes out.
Yeah. What's the podcast, Mike?
It is Super Sideshow, and it's
Yeah,
mostly about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where I watch the movie and have questions about it, and Jay watches the movie and has answers from all of his reading of comic books. So it's a good listen.
Yeah, we have tons and tons of episodes. So
Right,
you go to
a lot.
YouTube or
Yeah, hundreds
podcasts.
of episodes.
Yeah, you have a whole
Yeah.
bank of knowledge.
We go through the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe and most of their TV shows.
Yeah, looking back, I can't believe we did that. Like,
Yeah.
most of us during the pandemic, so we had
Right,
nothing else to do.
right. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
no,
man.
we got to tell people. Almost everybody that you know loves the Marvel movies, so share this podcast
Yes.
with almost everybody you know. However you're listening to this, if there's a way that you can rate it or review it or unsubscribe and resubscribe, whatever you can do that. It'll really help us out. We want to get more listeners so that we can keep doing this. So help us out.
Absolutely.
We'll appreciate it.
Rate us, subscribe us, share it with your friends. It really helps a lot.
Right. And we'll see you next time.